Hi guys, welcome back to another video. So I'm Robert McGowan. If you're new here and you like Porsche content, please feel free to subscribe and like the video. And today we're going to chat about 10 things that I most love about Porsches. So let's get started. Number 10 on the list is simply how they look. And I'm talking about all Porsches here, but Porsche sports cars in particular, I think. How they look, I mean, they're so pure and beautiful. Ferdinand Porsche, the founder, he was all about simplicity and a purity of style, you know. He didn't want anything that was superfluous in his cars. He wanted a pure, a simple design based on function. And that's what the Porsche ethos was about originally. And you can see that ethos carried through all the range, way back to the 356 to the modern cars today. Very pure, understated, beautiful and functional design that's endured the decades, you know, and will continue to endure. Just from my own perspective, I never get bored of looking at my 911, or the Boxster for that matter, but my 911, there's something about the shape of the 911 for me especially that you just, it never gets old, it never gets boring to look at, it's always thrilling to look at. So number 10 on the list is absolutely how the cars look. I just love how Porsches are designed and how they look. Number 9 on the list is the Porsche heritage. You know, for as far back as I can remember, Porsche have been pretty much winning almost everything, you know, that they entered, all the competitions that they entered, Targa Florio, you know, various others. I've listed them all, I've itemised all the championship wins in my Porsche books, but you know, they just seem to, ever since they were made, they seem to annihilate the competition. They've got this fantastic racing pedigree and heritage that seems fairly unique, you know, and I just love how this background and heritage has what gave birth to the road cars. You know, Porsches are pretty much honed on the racetrack, and that's where, you know, that's where they were tested and developed, and that's where they evolved into the street cars that you get nowadays. So yeah, the road's a bit bumpy here all of a sudden. The Porsche heritage is number 9 in my list. Number 8 on the list is the steering. You know, be a 911 that's obviously rear-engined, rear-wheel drive, all the weight's at the back. The 911 has got that typical kind of a front-end bob, they call it, well, the front bob's a little tiny bit because it's quite light. But what you get out of that is very delicate steering in all 911s, more so the air-cooled ones. But even the mid-engine cars like we're in just now, the Boxster and the Cayman, they have this lovely delicate steering feel to them that I think is quite uniquely Porsche. Even the electromechanical steering that came after this car into the newer cars, even that is quite a thing as well, and it feels lovely, perfectly weighted, perfectly balanced. You know, you can place the car exactly where you want on the road, and that's helped by the front kind of elevated front wings in these cars as well. You can place it exactly where you want on the road, and you just feel as if the steering in Porsches all across the range is pinpoint and precise, and to me it's a very Porsche-like attribute. The steering. On my list of things that I love about Porsche is I love how they kind of are conservative with their power outputs. You know, Porsche brake horsepower figures have always been understated. They've been conservative, and that's probably why some people say that Porsche ponies are a little bit stronger than other ponies of other car types. And I love that. You know, I love how they might say, you know, it'll get to 0 to 60 in a certain time, but when you actually test it, it's faster than what they claim. And I really like that about it, because, you know, it under promises and over delivers rather than the other way around, which is just a nice bonus, you know. And I think if they do that with their brake horsepower figures, they probably do that with other things to do with the car as well, the performance of it, and all the rest of it. And that kind of ties in with my belief of Porsche being a kind of high quality brand, high quality durable brand. So yeah, I love their conservative brake horsepower figures. I think is a good thing. Number 6 on the list is how they smell. It sounds a bit strange maybe, see it cool in the N11s. But no, I found that Porsches have got a unique smell inside as well, and it's something that kind of adds to the overall experience in my opinion. So yeah, I love the smell of Porsches. Next on my list is the Porsche reliability, which is quite funny because I read something recently about Porsche coming out not very well in reliability tests, which I thought was quite unusual. I'm not sure how these tests are based. I think they were based on some, the amount of warranty claims and how much they cost to fix and all the rest of it. And Porsche actually came out not very well in reliability stakes. Well, that's not my experience. I've been driving and owning Porsches for a long time, and in my personal experience, Porsches are generally very reliable cars. Also, even the old ones, the very old ones, very, very reliable. In fact, probably I would say one of the most reliable car brands to have. And that again is based on my personal experience. So yeah, Porsche reliability is definitely one of the things that I love about the Porsche brands. In my little list is that Porsches hold their money really well. The resale value of Porsches is usually better than other cars. By that I mean, if you buy any car new, then they usually depreciate by roughly a third within the first 2 or 3 years. Porsches generally perform a bit better than that. Porsches generally depreciate less than other car marques, depending on the model type and depending on which Porsche you have. Some will depreciate more than others, but generally speaking, Porsches depreciate a little bit more slowly than other high-end car brands, and that's really good for resale purposes. If the time comes to move your Porsche on, there's a good chance you're going to get back most, if not all, of your purchase price. And that's one of the reasons I call my Porsche books practically free motoring, because my argument is if you buy the right Porsche at the right price, you can sell it at the right price and get most, if not all, your money back. In fact, some Porsches even appreciate in value, so in some cases you might actually get more than what you paid for it, which has certainly been the case for me. If you're interested in finding out a lot more about that, then by all means check out my Porsche books that I will link in the comments below. Next on the list of things that I love about Porsche is I love how the base model is often more than enough. And that kind of links in with Porsche performance across the board with the various models. Porsche performance is generally, it's excellent. And what that means is quite often the base model of any type is often more than enough, and more than what you need. I often say to people who are looking to buy a Porsche, check out the base model, be it a Boxster, a Cayman, 911 or whatever, have a look at the base model before you start thinking about turbos or club sports, whatever, because quite often the base model of any Porsche is more than what you need, like I said, and you'd be surprised, and people quite often are surprised by just how fantastic the base model actually is. And I love that, because it just means, sure, you can upgrade. You could buy a more exclusive or a faster car, but there you go. We're in the base model of this right now, and look, this is a base model Boxster 2.9, and I don't know if you can hear that or not, but the engine sounds fabulous. The performance is awesome. Again, for driving a road car for my purposes, have a listen. I mean, you never get tired of hearing that flat six. So do you really need a Boxster S? Depends what you want. I've had a Boxster S as well and they're fabulous. But getting back to the point, the base model in most Porsches is in most cases going to be all the car that you really need. So that's, have a think about that. The base model is often one of the best value models, I would say. Number 2 on the list is how they make you feel. Porsche Porsches make you feel special. Everyone. I'd probably say most of the sports cars, they just make you feel special. There's something about it. It's a combination of how it looks, how it feels, how it performs, you know, fulfilling the dream of ownership, you know, the exhilaration of the performance. Porsches, there's something about the ingredients all combined that just make you feel special. You know, you park it up, you look back at it, you love the car, it becomes an extension of your personality almost, and you get a feeling that's kind of uniquely Porsche, and it's very fulfilling, very special, as I've said. And you know, it's hard to put a price on that. You know what I mean? If you find a car that genuinely makes you feel that way, what's it worth price-wise? You know, it's hard to put a price on it. And that's one of the main things I really love about Porsche. I mean, guys, right now I'm giving you 10 things. The truth is, I could give you 20, I could give you 30 things. But right now, these are the 10 things that are coming to my mind. But being a Porsche enthusiast, you know, I could certainly give you a lot more than 10 things. But how they make you feel is a big part of the ownership pleasure, and it's something that a lot of Porsche owners talk about. So yeah. And last on my little list for today is on a kind of more personal level. Porsche's got a very special place in my heart for a few reasons. When I was growing up, I always dreamed of one, and I always thought, you know, only rich people could afford them, and only a select few could afford to buy these dream Porsches. And one of my family members, my uncle, bought a 911 back in the late 80s, a black 911 3.2, and it was a whale tail and all that, and I just fell in love with the car. I loved it so much, it was beautiful. We used to go for a drive in it and we'd talk about it, and it just set the dream. I was about 12 years old at the time. It just set the dream rolling in my mind. I want a Porsche, I want that car. I had some special moments, you know, went for a drive round here, and me and my uncle, and it made me dream, and it made me think like ordinary people like us, like me, could one day afford a Porsche, and that's one of the things that sort of planted a seed in my mind that made me really want to own a Porsche one day. And it's also special because years and years later, when my uncle was actually dying, and it was his last few hours, and I came to visit him, and he was very unwell obviously at the time, and when I walked in, his face lit up, and I started to chat to them about Porsches, and various, you know, chats about cars, and again his eyes lit up, and he came to, and he wanted to talk about 911s, and he wanted to talk about my cars, and it was the last conversations that I had with him, and they were very, very special. And one of the last things I asked him actually was, I said to him, you've had a lot of cars, you've had the pleasure of owning an awful lot of high-end cars, you know, which was your favourite from all of them? And he looked at me and he said, the 911. And I said, why? And he said, well, because the 911 can do things that other cars can't do. And that, guys, is true, you know, and that's what I remember about that, and I'll always remember about that special conversation with my uncle. 911s can do things that other cars just can't do. And I'm going to leave you with that. So those are my 10 things that I most love about Porsches. I hope you've enjoyed the video, guys. Like I say, give it a wee thumbs up if you liked it, and subscribe for more content. Let me know your comments below on things that you love about Porsche. And until the next time, thanks for watching.